simplest way to build the pondless waterfall is using the front yard pondless kit, which utilizes this basin. This is called the Basin 45. You can do a lot of things with that basin. You could do this fountain is on one, that fountain's on one, those water walls, everything you see right here in the front is on a basin. Ralphie's going to grab what's called an aqua block. That's another way to build a pondless waterfall. The larger pondless features that you see throughout is built on aqua blocks. You can make a modular system, right? So you can make a basin anywhere from 400 gallons, 100 gallons. The waterfall is based off, that you can build on this, is based off the size of the basin. This here, I would say you can go like 6 to 8 feet. Keep it somewhat skinny. And my rule of thumb is anywhere from 2 to 3,000 gallons per hour per foot if I want something forceful. So like this here, I will keep the waterfall anywhere from a foot, right, to 18 inches on this. The pump we'll be using is only 2,000 gallons an hour, right? So when you look at this kit here and the amount of water, the reason why we can only go 6 to 8 feet and we keep it skinnier is that the water in motion, we want to have at least double that or triple that in a basin. It's an Aquascape AquaSearch 2000. There's a little screw collar right here, and this piece just screws on there. There's like a dome that sits on this pump, and that's a pre-filter, so debris doesn't go in. This is a pre-filter, right? Anything larger, smaller than that, the pump can send through no problem. You take off the dome, you take off this other piece, and you screw this on. What this allows us to do is, if we didn't do that, we'd be losing a couple of inches of water. Because as soon as air got to here, your pump would start sucking air, and you would hear like a gurgling noise. So by adding this, this is needed for the front yard pondless. This allows you to suction water from, it's actually called a low suction adapter. It allows you to suck water with this pump from a lower area. So you walk out in your yard and you're like, okay, I want to put a pondless waterfall. You got to determine your spot. It's either a good entrance way, you want to see it from a back patio, maybe from a window. Figure that out. You take this basin out of the kit. What I normally do is I lay it on the ground and I take marking spray paint and I draw a line around the basin, right? I'd probably clear some of the grass out first if it's in a grassy area and not in a flower bed. Mark out the area and you start your excavation. And it looks like this when you get it, right? So that's what you would have. If this was my yard right here, I would take my spray paint. One little tip is spray a little wider, because if you go to dig this perfect, 9 times out of 10, your thing's gonna be like this. Then you're gonna go put this in the hole, and then you have to lift it back out. Get this sprayed out, dig it out, put the soil where the waterfall will be, okay? That's super important. As you're putting the soil there, it wouldn't hurt to compact it a little bit. Stop from settling. And you didn't backfill, or you just freshly backfilled, yeah, you could come out, and because it's not filled, if you have clayey soil and it's not drainable, and the basement will be blowing out in the ground. I know that because it's happened to me. You know, like, I'm just telling you from my past experiences. You pretty much want this lip set at mulch level, right? If you were going up against a patio, I would set this lip down maybe 1 inch from the patio, 2 inches. And that way I can run my gravel from my waterfall right over this lip, right up to the edge of the patio block. Another key important thing is, when you're doing this little door here, that little door is your access for your pump. There's a little lid that sits over that. Your pump's down below. You want to leave that in an accessible spot. And the reason why I chose the front corner, you're gonna see, I'm gonna probably have a boulder out over here, a boulder out over there, right, to make this waterfall look like it's dropping in. This is an aqua basin for smaller waterfalls. This is a modular system. This is what we build the pondlesses on. This is your aqua block. This would normally get encased in liner. Okay. This one here, we don't need to encase it in liner because it's a preformed tub that goes in the ground. This one here, we dig out the area, we'd lay fabric in the hole, we'd lay a piece of liner, another piece of fabric on top, and then the blocks and the vault. The vault actually goes in first. So the vault goes in and then the block goes around. And we're gonna run through the plumbing aspects. So there's a hole drilled right here. We need to mount what's called a bulkhead. We're gonna re-go back on steps here. You would be putting the basin in the ground, spraying the white paint, digging the hole, putting the basin, piling the soil up, basin's in the ground, everything's compacted. You probably don't want to put soil right there because you got to hook a fitting into it. Bulkhead fittings, no matter, you'd see this a lot here with Aquascape product. I could actually show you how one goes in on here. I'm going to do the same thing down below. So what a bulkhead fitting is a fitting that allows you to penetrate an object, right, and allow plumbing to go through. The one major important part is the pieces of the bulkhead, right? Number one, it's opposite thread, so it's lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. It has 4 components. The main body, a rubber gasket, this is the important part, the plastic washer, and then the tightening collar. I'm going to be putting this in down there the same way I'm putting it in here. Whatever side the water is going to be on, and you want it to be watertight, and this is the important part, like the inside. The water's on the inside, I don't want it to go out, right? The water's in this thing here. I just run plumbing through this. It's not a watertight situation, but I'm going to show you how to seal it. You take the body with the rubber washer, you slip it through the hole like that. You flip this over like this, put the plastic on the outside, put your collar, remember, lefty, and if it, see in the beginning like that, it kind of was just binding a little bit, it's plastic. Plastic will do that. Don't force it. It should go on smooth like this. Try to keep dirt out of your threads, you know, when you're doing this. Try to keep the stuff clean. Also down below down there, I'm gonna be putting a fitting on for plumbing. You wanna have a pair of channel locks like this to tighten that. What you're gonna do is, when you tighten it, once again, it's plastic, don't be Hercules, and it's lefty-tighty. And you wanna go about a half turn. You'll feel resistance. Once you feel resistance like that, stop. You'll see the inside, the rubber starting to blow out. If you keep tightening and tightening, you're gonna snap the collar, and it's gonna make your 2-day project go into a 3-day project probably. Never put, even if you see it on the internet anywhere, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, do not put silicone on the bulkhead. You're gonna get silicone in your kit, and people are gonna say, oh, I'm gonna put silicone to seal it. Do it the way I just showed you. And the reason for that is the silicone will make the fitting starting to slip. Right there, I was able to tighten it. If the rubber tightened down, if there was silicone, that would just start spinning on you. It's important when you look at this fitting, if you look at it closely, it's tapered. So as you screw in, it gets tighter and tighter. I normally hand screw these in. What we'll do is, and you can watch over here, put a bead of silicone and actually screw it right into that bulkhead. But once that dries, it's watertight. We're gonna go through and glue plumbing. One thing you will wanna watch for when you buy fittings, if you're not familiar with plumbing, is there's high pressure fittings that are like this, and then regular drain fittings. And what it is that the socket is double the depth for gluing. So a normal fitting, the pipe goes in 3/4 of an inch. These, they go in 1.5 inches. So it gives you more gluability with the flex PVC. 8 rings of the hose, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, allows you to glue something close together. And then that's how that attaches to the pump. That guy sits inside that collar right there, and what that does is hooks up to this piece here. Right there. So when you screw that collar down, it's watertight. Okay, it's a little gasket. So you can loosen that collar, and this can move around any which way you need it to. So normally what I do when I go to put this in there, you just put that, I leave this a little loose so I can wiggle the pump around, tighten that collar onto the pump, get the pump to sit flat, and then tighten this. This is another piece that you get with the kit for the plumbing. It's this little piece right here. This is part of your adapter for your pump. Most of the stuff from Aquascape, when you buy it, what is nice is that it's pre-plumbed for you. A lot of other kits that you see on the market, you gotta still cut plumbing and stuff. most of the time it's figured out. You just screw stuff together the way they have it, whether it's a pump in the skimmer or a pump in here. So that bulkhead that Raphael had before, he screwed that in there. He siliconed that fitting on the end. He didn't show you, so I'm going to show you silicone on this. Anytime you have threads, most of the time you put silicone on them, right? What you want to do is you just take the tube of silicone. This comes with your kit. You don't need to buy this. Everything's in there. And you just put a bead of silicone right around and then screw it in. This here screws into the inside of that bulkhead just like he screwed this onto the outside of that bulkhead. So this piece here attaches the pump to the bulkhead and it screws into the bulkhead inside the aqua basin just like this. Remember to put some silicone on the threads for a watertight seal. What it does is the water goes in the back. It's a way to seal the liner to this. When the water goes in, if you look, you can't see out the front, right? And that's because they have the baffle right here. So what happens, the water comes in the box, hits that, and slows down the flow, not slows down the flow, you get the same amount of flow, but disperses it, you know, so then it comes out evenly. Once again, this thing has what's called, it looks like a bulkhead, but it's actually mounted to the box. We're gonna have to cut a hole in the liner up there. Before I was saying that you get one rubber washer and one plastic. On this Spillway box, it's 2 rubber washers. And you sandwich the liner between 2 rubber washers. I'm gonna flip back this fabric, flip back this liner, and I have 2 options right now. I can put more soil or I can put some gravel. There's also a couple ways that you can install this. A lot of guys mount it like this, but then I gotta worry about hiding this damn thing, which is hard. I'm gonna mount it down like this, below the rock, right? And when I attach my liner, I'm gonna make sure that my liner is higher than that rock. Put a little gravel down on top of the liner. That way I can level it now, shift it if I need to, without having to flip back and forth. Set this like this. What I'll wind up doing is foaming down in here, right? And the water will come up and well up and come over that boulder. And all I'm gonna do here is take this rubber gasket, place it where I need to cut my hole, which I just folded my liner up and put a dot. I took my liner, I folded it up to where I need to cut the hole back here. I just put a dot. I'm gonna center this on the dot, and now I'm just gonna take my Sharpie and mark a circle. You just put the liner around it like I just did. It fits right over, right? You make sure the liner's up against that rubber gasket. Then you take your second rubber gasket, slip it over the threads on the back of the box, like that, opposite thread. Run a nice bead of silicone. You just need to put it on the end like that. You don't need to put it all over the place because as you screw it in, it'll go in. That'll screw into the back of the box. We're gonna use another elbow. Whenever you can avoid not using them, it's okay. If it's a small feature like this, it's not too bad. But if you use a lot, it does resist the flow on your pump. Every 90-degree elbow is considered 1 foot of head height. Once again, you put glue on both sides, some on the fitting, some on the hose like that. Push that into the fitting, hold it for a couple of seconds, repeat it on the piece of hose again, and then on the piece of this fitting, on the inside like that. you want to measure on top of the fitting. And right where it bends is where you need to cut it. I have a little leadway, so if it's a little long, I can push it back. So right here is where I'm going to cut it.